Aliens have landed and they've made a real mess. Goodness, would you look at the state of this place. Time to call in some highly trained elite combat operatives and tidy up Rainbow Six style. Arm yourself with these tips we learned the hard way and make Rainbow Six Extraction a much easier game.
Let's get to work.
You can always count on Ubisoft's Tom Clancy games to deliver a few key identifying features, from the first Rainbow Six games in the 90s to right now. Firstly, there'll be rooms full of serious people in underground bunkers with way more computer screens than they could possibly need, talking about this threat being like nothing that's come before it. Secondly, all the combat gear. Whatever the problem posed to this shadowy special ops organization, you can bet the answer is people in goggles and balaclavas storming levels with silenced SMGs. And so it proves in Rainbow Six Extraction, a 3-player PvE roguelike shooter where alien parasites have landed, covered everything in a dark substance called the Sprawl, trademark, and made sightseeing trips to Lady Liberty extremely unwise.
And the parasite isn't alone.
We've been playing it now since quite a while before it launched, and out in the field we've picked up a few bits of knowledge that'll definitely help you with that early game learning curve. So slip on your comfiest kevlar while we brief you on 10 tips to make you a legendary teammate in Rainbow Six Extraction. Before we step through the airlock, there's just a chance to thank all our new subscribers and point out the subscribe button below for anyone who hasn't joined us yet. Hit the bell for new videos every week, hassle-free. Right, move out, team.
We're in uncharted territory now, facing something we know almost nothing about. Something that could destroy every living thing on the planet.
Whoa, where are you going? I said move out, not sprint right into an Archaean. Look, this is a tricky game. For demonstration purposes, here's how many hits it takes for a level 1 operator to be downed. And once they're downed, they remain in the level you lost them in, with all that XP in there too.
Team is down. We need to mount a rescue ASAP.
To get them back, you've got to go in as a different operator and rescue them from these odd alien tree things, and then stuff them into an extraction pod. And if you die trying that, you lose that operator too.
Agent secured. React Medical will keep me apprised of their recovery.
So yeah, this isn't a run and gun game. No matter how tempting it is to run through a level when you see your teammates rushing off, you've got a way better chance of survival moving slow. In the default binds, Alt makes you move super slow, which is handy for sneaking up and meleeing unsuspecting Archaeans. But most of the time you're better off using crouch mode, bound to C by default, for slightly slower, quieter movement than running. The aliens you're fighting here come in a few different flavors, and they're all part of a connected Archaean ecosystem, which is quite cool, isn't it? Makes a change from clueless human guards. It does mean you've got to attack the whole ecosystem though, not just the enemies. These red things are nests and they can respawn enemies. If a grunt sends the alert out, and we'll cover how that works in just a sec, the nests will also go on alert, and they'll know to keep spawning enemies as they're killed. It's better to stay undetected as you move through a level. And when you see a nest, destroy it to remove an enemy spawn point. But do it quietly. There's usually an Archaean grunt or splitter nearby, so take them down first with a quick headshot or melee takedown, then either shoot or melee the nest. Next, let's go into that stealth system a bit more. Archaeans have a lot going for them, but they're not massively observant, if we're being honest.
That issue has been dealt with.
You can get about this close to them before they notice you, and when you do, you've got a brief window to shoot them dead before they get the alarm out. If you don't manage to neutralize them in time, you'll see this orange bloom appear, cascading out from the alerted enemy. Think of this like an alarm pheromone. Any other enemies within that radius will also be alerted, and they'll start piling in to help out their mates. You can dig in and fight if you like, but it's safer to back away and hide until they seem to have given up. You don't get a clear indicator on your HUD when this happens, so you need to watch enemy behavior to judge it. There's a bit more depth to your health and extraction than it lets on when you first start playing, so here's how it works. When you start a mission, your health's all in white. Think of it as your operator's persistent health. It isn't reset after a mission. If you took a lot of hits, it stays low even when the mission's done. When you pick up a medkit, you get this blue health. This is more like the usual video game health. However much you lose or restore, that's only counted during the mission. Your total health when you extract does count towards an XP multiplier, but otherwise blue health is just for staying alive in that specific level. If you leave a mission on below 50 white health, that operator's status will be injured and they'll be unavailable until you recover. Doing more missions generates health from your earned XP, and that heals all operators.
I hoped to never see this place again. Still have nightmares about it.
A quick word on weaponry next. In short, get these level 1 shotguns you start many operators' loadouts with in the bin, as soon as you absolutely can. We're not doubting their stopping power. At close range, they can one-shot most enemies, which... great, you know, well done shotguns. But the problem is, why are you letting them get that close in the first place? Because this is really more of a stealth and gadgets game, it's not Quake 2. If you're fending off Archaeans who are running at you at almost melee range, you've kind of already blown it. Shotguns are not stealthy, and their reload time leaves much to be desired. Not welcome if you've got Archaean tormentors bearing down on you. No, SMGs and assault rifles are much better for the job at hand. Their sights and ballistics behavior give you the chance to pop off satisfying long-range headshots without alerting anyone. And you can destroy nests from miles away. You could just use Finker or Lion, who start with ranged weaponry in the first place, but ultimately you want a broad range of operators and abilities, so it's really worth spending some time with the likes of Pulse, Sledge and Jaeger until you unlock their tier 2 weapons.
You're adapting well to the circumstances. Keep that momentum.
This is a co-op game as much as anything, but it's also totally possible to go through levels solo. In fact, in some ways, it's even easier. There's only one of you for the enemies to spot, there's no one else to sync up with before starting combat, and enemies scale to player count, so you don't have to do 3 times the shooting when you go in alone. Playing solo does put a pretty different complexion on operator abilities though.
Heartbeat sensor activated.
No offense, Rook, but with all the will in the world, that armor deployment ability that gives body armor to the whole team is starting to look a bit useless when there's no one to share the armor with.
Time for some serious protection.
Vigil, on the other hand, is a solo play master. His cloak ability is perfect for slinking away when you're accidentally spotted, and that's much harder to do as a team when 2 of you are still visible. He's also great at taking down enemy elites with a melee attack, which is one of the common mission objectives, since he can get up close without them noticing while cloaked.
My cloak is out. They never see it coming. Down.
Using Vigil, you can blast through a good few levels and tick up your milestone progress to unlock new areas without other players dragging you down. Just kidding, guys. Guys, friendly fire's on, you know.
Capture complete. 1 live specimen coming right up.
Something to know about operators at the start of the game is... oh gosh, is that the time? We'd better make these next tips lightning fast before the evac heli leaves without us. Spend your time with a few different operators at the start of the game. If your chosen one is downed, you'd otherwise have to retrieve them with a level 1, and you'd lose all your milestone progress until you rescue them.
I'm not getting a response. We'll have to consider our operator to be MIA.
Which brings us to... there we are, thank you, little pop-up title. Once you wrench a downed operator out of their tree and extract them, all their XP fills your milestone progress back up again. It's very satisfying. Next.
Operator is secured. React Medical will monitor their recovery.
Sprawl slows you down and enemies are more powerful when they're on it. Mutations on higher difficulties can make it damage you upon touch, or enemies leave a trail wherever they go. You can shoot at it to make it disappear, but don't be tempted to clean up every level. It's a waste of ammo. Only clear paths between objectives and extraction zones, especially when you're carrying VIPs or MIA operators.
Place our casualty in the extraction pod.
Whew, we've made it to the extraction zone just in time. There's just about enough time for our last tip, which is this. Just get out of here when you reach this point. Don't try to farm more XP after you complete all 3 objectives by angering the Archies and getting them to spawn and respawn. Although you get XP for every kill in Rainbow Six Extraction, it's a tiny amount per kill versus the wad you get for doing an objective. So you might as well just go home and start a new mission.
You'll react with pride and joy. Just don't let it go to your head.
And that's it! We're home and dry, watching that XP tick up after another heroic venture into Archaean-infested territory. Things got a bit touch and go there towards the end, didn't they? We hope these tips help you on your way to showing every single public game trio that you're the best in the world at Rainbow Six Extraction. And now's your time to return the favour and tell us the strats you discovered down below in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos just like this one.
Exfil your squad mate. Get them to the extraction pod.